in beautiful Virginia City. That's an old mining town, famous for all the silver that was pulled out of here, and I think that's probably why they call Nevada the Silver State. Behind me, you'll see a very attractive building. That's the Fourth Ward Schoolhouse, built in the late 1800s, and we're going to be photographing that today. That's our subject. We're going to be testing the Plaubel that's got that shifting mechanism there and see how that works. This is my test subject here. I want to test the shift and see at what point we may be getting some vignetting. I'm going to start out with 0, straight shot, and then about 7.5 degrees, and then the maximum is 15 degrees that you can get with that camera. So we're going to take a quick look at that. We got to get it loaded, then we'll set up and we'll take some test shots. I'll be using Velvia 50 today. That's the slide film. Great quality, super sharp, good fat saturation, and it's a 120 of course. And we just have to open this by pulling down on the tab. Now I want you to notice here, this loads a little differently than most cameras. Usually when you pull this over here, you wind it from here over to there, but this, notice on this side, when we turn this rotates. So this is going to be our take up over there. So we have to put our fresh roll on this side. Just pull down the tab, turn it over there, pull these down, and it'll lock right in place. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is very different. Takes a little getting used to. And now we're going to make sure we don't let too much slack comes out of there. Just going to advance it. Make sure it's seating pretty tight. And you see the start line lines up with the yellow dot up here. Okay. And then you stop. Make sure everything is still good. And that's set at 120, the plate here, because we could shoot 120 or 220. So today we're shooting 120. Let's close that down and make sure this locks in place. And that's about it. You just got to advance it now and it'll automatically stop at number 1. You can see the counter will be over here. And there we go. We're on number 1. Well, we're about ready now, but there's a couple things we have to do to get the camera ready to work here. We have to, first of all, there's a unique cable release that fits in this camera. And I always had trouble figuring out how this works because there's no real screws on this end and it's threaded on that end, so I assume that went in there. But this is notched and there's a spring-loaded section here, and that just slides up there and it locks nice and secure. To release it, well, let me show you here. To release it, just drops right out and it just snaps right in place. And then this threads in, of course, to our shutter. Now, that would work fine. We push this, of course we would cock the shutter, push this down and it would take a picture. But I've gotten in the habit when it's something critical, I'll usually put a tripod or a cable release in here, and that will then activate that one. But I got a big beefy tripod here. We'll just go ahead and set this up and take some pictures. I took a reading already. It's 1/30th at f/22, and so I'm going to put the polarizing filter on. I hadn't planned to do that originally, but I'm going to do that, and that's going to reduce my light by about almost 2 stops. So I have my adapter with this polarizing, it's a warming polarizing filter, and I use a step-up ring. The normal filter size on this lens is 52 millimeter, so I got to step up from 52 to 77. The other thing about this viewfinder is so special. It actually locks in place and kind of works in conjunction with the rise and fall. You'll see that it unlock it and then just slide it up, and you see how it tilts up and down. And there's also another little setting on the side up here, you can't see it now, but it's just a little wheel, and you turn it to what distance your subject is going to be, and we're certainly at infinity, so we're just going to leave that at infinity. And that again does a little fine-tuning correction on the finder there. So we got that in place. I have to cock it, but I'm going to get all set up here. And so I took the reading and it said 32, 1/30th at f22. And so I'm going to open up almost 2 stops. I'll go down, I'll keep it at a 30th and go down to about almost 11. So 16 is the 1 stop and 11 would be 2. So just shy of 11. So let's get this set up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're all set. I have the camera perfectly level. There's spirit levels on both the horizontal and the vertical position. And I have my eye finder. We're not going to change the viewfinder. The first one will just be a straight on shot. We'll have probably too much foreground. This is a 47mm super angulon, so it has a huge image circle, and it should just give us plenty of coverage. So I've got to cock the shutter and we'll be ready to take our first shot. Okay, here we go. Excellent. Now there's to go to exposure 2, we have to move this little lever here before we can advance to the next frame. There's two advances and it's ready to go again. Now, same exposure, not changing anything. By the way, the polarizing filter, you can't see the effect of the polarizer. There's no ground glass or the viewfinder doesn't catch it. So I just hold it up, view it at the angle, rotate it, and watch the letters on the outside ring of the polarizer. And then, like in this case, one of the words is in the straight up position. So then I put the polarizer on and I watch the lettering and get it adjusted so I know that it's just right. So now this time, let's raise that up a little bit. And there's a scale on the top right here. And matter of fact, I can take this off. And you can see here, we're at 0 right now. And we're going to push this up to, let's go to 5. I'm using a Provia film because it's a transparency film that has very limited latitude. So if we have any errors or fall off, it'll show right away. So I don't need the viewfinder now. I've already got that set up. Got that up. Got to cock the shutter. Okay, here we go. There's number 2. Okay, and let's raise this up. This time it will be the maximum up to 15. See how this is moving? Let's get that lined up with 15. And it's going to be interesting to see what the coverage is. And we'll take the next one. Okay, that'll do. I'll get that developed and we can take a close look at all that.